When my voice box is fixed, I'll finally get my chance.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Pixar villains with the saddest backstories.
Oh, I never thought things would come to this. Not in my factory.
They called me a fraud, those... But once I bring back this creature, my name will be cleared.
We were lost, cast off, unloved, unwanted.
For this list, we'll be looking at baddies from Pixar movies with origin stories that made us feel for them. Since we will be discussing plot points, a spoiler alert is in effect. Did your favorite Pixar villain make the list? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, Chick Hicks, Cars. There's no doubt that Chick Hicks was a pretty terrible race car. He resorted to cheating and violence to win the Piston Cup, and was consistently selfish and arrogant.
That was some pretty darn nice racing out there.
By me! Welcome to the Chick era, baby!
But his bad attitude and obsession with winning stemmed from insecurity. Chick was constantly in second place throughout his career. Yet even as the king was preparing to retire, Lightning McQueen, a rookie, was standing in his way.
Chick thought this was his year, Bob. His chance to finally emerge from the king's shadow. But the last thing he expected was Lightning McQueen!
You know, I don't think anybody expected this.
A perpetual runner-up, he just wanted to step out of the shadows and get his time in the spotlight. While none of this excuses his behavior, it makes it a bit easier to understand his motivations. However misguided they may have been.
Hey, how come the only one celebrating is me, huh?
Where are the girls? Bring on the confetti!
Ow! Ow!
Easy with the confetti.
Number 9, SID PHILLIPS, Toy Story. To Woody and his friends, Sid was an evil mastermind.
You mean that happy child?
That ain't no happy child. He tortures toys just for fun!
Considering the way he decapitated and destroyed his toys, it's easy to understand why they feared him so much. However, Sid was just trying to cope with the pressures of being a kid by playing, aggressively no doubt, with objects he had no reason to believe were sentient.
Patient is prepped. No one's ever attempted a double bypass brain transplant before.
Plus, given the way the film implied his father was neglectful, his attention-seeking behavior made even more sense. There was no reason to think that Sid had malice in his heart, as evidenced by the terror on his face when he discovered toys were actually alive.
We toys can see everything.
So play nice.
Number 8, Mordu, Brave. Mordu the bear was once one of 4 human princes. Per his father's wishes, the land was to be split between him and his brothers.
They should be the pillars on which the peace of the land rested.
But he wanted it all for himself, so he went to a witch for help.
He demanded I give it the strength of 10 men, and he gave me this for a spell. A spell that would change his fate.
And did he get what he was after?
Oh, yes!
His beastly transformation ensued, and the kingdom was destroyed. Mordu put his desire for power above everything, including his family. Thus, his fate as a bear, on the inside and out, became permanent.
Changed his fate. Oh no. The prince became...
It's a sad tale of a man who failed to realize what was important in life and lost everything as a result. His expression when Merida and Eleanor killed the bear and set his spirit free truly said it all. Number 7, Randall BOGGS, Monsters Inc. and Monsters University. In Monsters Inc., Henry J. Waternoose and Randall BOGGS made up a despicable team. The CEO, motivated by the need to keep the company going, wasn't given an in-depth backstory. However, Monsters University reveals that the evil lizard-esque monster, and Waternoose's partner in crime, wasn't always a villain.
Hey there, I'm your roomie. Name's Randy Boggs, scaring major.
Oh, Mike Wazowski's scaring major.
I can tell we're gonna be best chums, Mike.
Randall was actually a reserved student who was roommates and friends with Mike Wazowski. But when he joined the cool Roar Omega Roar monsters, he started acting like them.
Let's be honest, boys.
You're never gonna be real scarers because real scarers look like us.
He lacked confidence and began to tear others down in a bid to be accepted. But when his camouflage backfires because of James P. Sullivan in the Scare Games, he is quickly tossed aside by his so-called friends. In that moment, Randall swore he'd never be seen as less than Sully again. It's actually quite tragic.
That's the last time I lose to you, Sullivan.
Number 6. GABBY, Toy Story 4. GABBY was an antique shop doll who wanted Woody's voice box because hers didn't work properly.
We gotta go.
You can't leave yet. You have what I need. Right inside there.
While her plan to get a working one was creepy and cruel, it's easy to sympathize with her. She was manufactured without a functional voice box and longed to experience love and play like Woody had.
All I want is a chance for just one of those moments. I'd give anything to be loved the way you have.
She felt that her quote-unquote defect was standing in the way of that, so she was desperate to fix it. Yet even after she did, Harmony rejected her. By this point, GABBY doesn't feel like much of a villain anymore. In fact, everybody was thrilled when she found a little girl to comfort and create memories with in the end.
I'm Gabby. Will you be my friend?
I'll help you.
Number 5. Charles F. MUNTZ, Up. Charles MUNTZ started off as an adored explorer who had the world at his fingertips. But when people doubted his discovery of a rare bird skeleton, he was dubbed a fraud.
No!
The organization strips MUNTZ of his membership.
So he vowed to find the species alive to prove himself, and fell off the map for years. Though he initially fooled Carl and Russell, they quickly realized he was consumed by this quest. Thus, he had grown rather evil.
Here they come, these bandits, and think the bird is theirs to take. But they soon find that this mountain is a very dangerous place.
He would do anything, including hurt them, in order to capture Kevin and get the recognition he felt he'd always deserved. That's just how desperate he was.
Enough! I'm taking that bird back with me! Alive or dead!
Ultimately, MUNTZ missed out on building a life because he was stuck in the past, and it's unfortunate to say the least. Number 4. Stinky Pete the Prospector, Toy Story 2. The Prospector desperately wanted to be displayed in the Konishi Toy Museum, but that was only possible if Woody went too.
The museum's only interested in the collection if you're in it, Woody. Without you, we go back into storage.
So when the Star Sheriff decided to go home to Andy, Stinky Pete left his box in an attempt to stop him. It was assuredly evil, but he had been stuck inside his packaging his whole life.
Prospector, this isn't fair!
Fair? I'll tell you what's not fair. Spending a lifetime on a dime store shelf watching every other toy be sold.
He had never known the love of a child, so it's no wonder he was angry and distrustful of them. He genuinely believed they would destroy any toy, just to ultimately toss it aside.
Andy's growing up, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's your choice, Woody. You can go back, or you can stay with us and last forever.
Given Pete's story, it's not hard to understand why he felt the museum was his best and safest option. Number 3. Evelyn Dever, aka Screenslaver, Incredibles 2. Evelyn Dever tricked everybody by pretending to be an ally. In reality, she was pulling the Screenslaver's strings and plotting to ensure superheroes remained banned forever.
You can count on me anyway.
I'm supposed to, aren't I? Because you have some strange abilities and a shiny costume, the rest of us are supposed to put our lives into your gloved hands.
But her reason for hypnotizing them was a heartbreaking one. Her father, a huge fan of supers, called them for help one night. But when they couldn't save him, he was murdered. Evelyn hated that he relied on them instead of hiding in the safe room.
He died. Pointlessly. Stupidly. Waiting for heroes to save the day.
Thus, she used her technological prowess to take matters into her own hands. In ridding the world of supers, she hoped to make ordinary people more self-sufficient.
Our sweet parents were fools to put their lives in anybody else's hands. Superheroes keep us weak.
It's clear the trauma she suffered left some damage, so it's impossible not to feel for her. Number 2. Buddy Pine, aka Incrediboy, aka Syndrome, The Incredibles. Syndrome was initially just an eager little kid named Buddy who loved and admired Mr. Incredible. In fact, he was his biggest fan, and even went by Incrediboy.
No, you don't have to worry about training me. I know all your moves, your crime-fighting style, favorite catchphrases, everything! I'm your #1 fan!
But after repeatedly being told to leave his idol alone, Buddy went down a dark path. Though the supers were set aside by society, he didn't forget how he was rejected. Thus, Syndrome was born. He took his knack for building weapons to the next level, and plotted his revenge against the hero that made him feel small.
I was wrong to treat you that way. I'm sorry.
See? Now you respect me, because I'm a threat. That's the way it works.
At his core, Syndrome was nothing more than a child who felt ignored, and went to twisted lengths to be feared and respected. In this case, stan culture had some super devastating consequences.
Sure, it was difficult, but you are worth it. I mean, after all, I am your biggest fan.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. LOTS-O-HUGGIN Bear, Toy Story 3. When we first met Lotso, he seemed like a bear as cuddly and sweet as any we'd ever seen. Yet he was one of Pixar's cruelest villains.
Come on, guys, we're going home.
Whoa there, Missy. You're not going anywhere.
He was ruthless, but only because he suffered great pain and loss. He once had a wonderful relationship with a kid named Daisy. But things took a turn when he and some other toys were accidentally left at a rest stop. They traveled a great distance to get home to her, only to find she'd moved on with another Lotso bear.
Something changed that day inside Lotso. Something snapped. She replaced us. Come on.
He stopped believing in the bond between children and toys after that, and thus began his villainous journey to Sunnyside. If that doesn't make you hug your toys a little tighter, we don't know what will. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.